Well, easily the biggest change that we wanted to inform you of for this coming year is the change in our schedule for Sunday nights for both middle school and high school. Last few years, at least as long as I've been around, the middle school and high school have run simultaneously on Sunday nights, and it worked out great. We did fine with that. However, we believe that we've reached the point in both ministries' lives where they're ready to split. We're ready to run them at separate times. And so what we're going to be doing is running the middle school on Sunday evenings from 5:30 to 7:15 p.m. And we'll be running the high school immediately following that from 7:30 to 9:15 p.m. Now, you're probably asking yourself, why? Why are we doing this? Is it a little bit of a hassle? Maybe it's something different. Now, we understand that change is sometimes tough, but as we looked at the pros and cons for this change, we just believed that this was the right direction to go for both groups. I want to point out a couple of the key pros to doing this change. It started with kind of a selfish reason, and really it came down to my ability to give more time to both groups, the middle school and the high school. Under our previous format, both groups ran at the same time, and each week I was forced to choose which group I was going to spend most of my time with, particularly in the area of teaching. By doing this split, I'll be able to give more of my time to both groups instead of having to choose every week. The other extreme positive we saw from this was that the high schoolers, a majority of them, were definitely ready for this split to happen. They put up with middle schoolers, they tolerated them, but really when it came down to it, they were frustrated that they had to show up every week and share the gym with a bunch of middle schoolers, share the youth room with a bunch of middle schoolers. And we just saw a definite positive impact by having an opportunity for the high schoolers to come, have their own facilities, have their own time, and not have to worry about all the little rugrats running around. Now, not that middle schoolers are bad, but when you're a 16-year-old, that 12-year-old sitting next to you is kind of annoying. So we saw that as a positive. Another big one for us was it creates an opportunity for our upperclassmen in the high school group to volunteer with the middle school group. Now, not all of them want to, but definitely over the years we've had some extremely solid, mature high school students who were interested in helping with the middle school, but since the ministries ran at the same time, they were unable to do so. So this split gives them that opportunity. Now, when it came to deciding which days to run the ministries on, there were definitely options to move one of the groups to a different night of the week. But we were almost positive we didn't want to switch the high school, just because you get into the weekdays and Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, there's so many sports going on, so many things with band and drama. We didn't want to create extra interference for the students where they had to choose what they were going to take part in, youth group or extracurricular activities. We didn't want to have to give them that choice. So we definitely wanted to leave the high school on Sunday nights. And when it came to the middle school, they definitely have more free time in the middle of the week, but in the 3 years that we've been on Sunday nights, the middle school group has really flourished and has really grown and done well on Sunday nights. So we didn't want to move them off of that night and risk losing any of that momentum. Now, those of you who have kids in both groups, you really run into the biggest changes required for your families, where instead of 2 trips on a Sunday night where you're bringing your kids and then picking them up, you're faced with the potential of having an extra trip in there where you're picking up your middle schooler and dropping off your high schooler. It's our hope that you can find a way to make that work for your family, or for many of you, you'll be able to set up some carpooling with other families that live in your area, that live in your neighborhood, and can kind of share some of those driving responsibilities. Because we really believed, even there are some cons that go along with this, even as we consider your driving needs, we really felt that the pros outweighed the cons on this. And if you're wondering, okay, what else is changing? Well, our Sunday nights are going to look very similar to what they've been in the past. You know, we'll have worship opportunities, we'll have times of large group talks and small group application times. And so really not a ton is changing. There will be nights where we're off-site. There will be nights where student ministries take a break to take part in family ministry events or Chapel Point worship nights. But aside from the time change, our Sunday nights will look very, very much the same for your middle school and high school student. If you have further questions about this, we know you may have some. If you'd like to kind of go over our full pros and cons list when it came to this change, feel free to give me a call at the office. Feel free to drop me an email or even grab one of our volunteers at some point and chat through it with them. And we just want you to fully understand where we're coming from in this change and hope that you'll partner with us in making it a completely positive change for our student ministry. So, biggest thing to remember, middle school on Sunday nights, 5:30 to 7:15, and high school on Sunday nights, 7:30 to 9:15. One thing that we're going to ask of you, especially if you have a middle school student, is that you try to be as prompt as possible in picking them up at 7:15. The supervision is going to end right around 7:15, and we really want to create an environment where the high schoolers don't have to show up and dodge 6th, 7th, and 8th graders as they're getting ready for their ministry time. And we don't want to create a situation where our middle school volunteers are waiting around for a half hour, 45 minutes, even 15 minutes waiting for parents to arrive. So if you could help us out in that way, that would be huge. And again, if you have any questions, feel free to let us know.